There is a Zen story in the Tang dynasty. Among us, Zen master Zhao Zhou. Zhao Zhou is a Zen master in the Tang dynasty. Among us, a novice monk asked Zen master Zhao Zhou. He said, "I have just entered a monastery. Please give me instructions, Venerable Master." And then Zhao Zhou said, "Have you eaten yet?" The monk said, "I have eaten." And Zhao Zhou said, "Then go wash the bowl." At this juncture, the monk had insight. And for those who have been here the first time, you don't know what an insight is. Briefly speaking, insight is an enlightenment, or in the Japanese language, it's a satori. In the Chinese language, it's kai wu. Although this old Zen story might seem simple, it actually conveys a very fundamental concept of the practice of meditation. The monk, diligent and inquisitive, after practicing for a long time and always in search of the better practice in meditation, he was yearning for some esoteric teaching, something abstruse, something profound, high level. He expected the old monk to tell him something that is really good, something superior, something he hasn't heard of before. But Zhao Zhou said, "Go wash the bowl." This remark brings him down to the simple and daily chore of the practice. When you finish eating, don't you have to wash the bowl? Just be mindful with the reality of your ordinary daily life. Why are you still looking for something beyond of you? You should be looking for something that is close to you. You always think that there's better things beyond. Many people, especially people who study philosophy, literature, religion, Eastern religion, humanities, they think that meditation is only to be found in spiritual experiences, in enlightenment glimpses, in mystical encounters. Some even think that meditation is in search of supernatural power. You get supernatural power in meditation if you achieve a certain higher level, but that's not the objective of meditation. Anything mystical they think would open the spiritual world for them. But actually, the essence of meditation is not just in its philosophy and in the sitting itself, but also in the context of regular and disciplined daily chores of the practitioner. We must live the experiences instead of just talking about it. We have to live through it. I remember in the 7 days meditation retreat last year, not too long ago, sometime in May, the 7-day meditation retreat that we have in here, someone came up to me and he said, "Venerable, it's not fair. We are coming here for meditation retreat, trying to get enlightenment, and now we have been given chores to do. We have to wash dishes, mop the floor, and prepare food. And why are we assigned these duties? Are we not coming to enjoy it ourselves? Why do we have to do all these duties? And also, it's not fair. Some groups are given less work to do, and we're given more work to do. It's not fair. I don't feel happy about it." But remember when Master Zhao Zhou told the novice monk, "Go wash your bowl," he implies that meditation is not just spiritual contemplation. Part of the Zen practice is to be mindful of what you are doing in your daily routines, paying full attention to the body and its physical movement. You have been taking everything for granted. You have been taking breathing, for example, for granted until you can't breathe anymore. Why are we concentrating on the breathing? Meditation is not just gently and quietly sitting down, relaxing yourself. Meditation is physical. It's work. It's work of enlightenment. It's just not slacking off and not doing anything. It's physical. Remember when Lee introduced it? The 3 adjustments of meditation. The first adjustment is adjustment to the body posture. How do you cross your leg? How do you breathe? Where do you put your arms and your hands? How do you cushion your spiral, your posterity? All this is physical. You think you can stay away from physical and just being intellectual and you learn everything about meditation? Breath is the object of meditation. But you cannot ignore the environment surrounding your breath. In other words, how can you study the world by alienating you from the world? Your breath comes from your body. And you're paying attention to your breath and you ignore your body movement, your physical, you just pay attention to the metaphysical. Some people like metaphysical, above, matter is above. They want to be metaphysical. The monastic life, especially in ancient China, and now, of course, it still applies, the monastic life maintains a balance between both the spiritual and the physical aspect of the practice. In the entrance hall of many Zen temples in China and Japan, a wooden board is hung up on the wall. It says, "Live your present moment." Live your present moment. Look under your feet. Know where you are standing. The very moment where you are standing. In the Zen tradition, every monk takes on the daily job of cleaning the temple floor, cooking meals, racking fallen tea leaves, shoveling snow, brushing the toilet, cleaning dishes, scrubbing the floor. They all do that kind of thing. Cutting wood, drawing water. It's physical. Actually, there's a sight of the head monk conscientiously sweeping the floor with mindfulness is as much a part of his teaching as his Dharma Talk in the meditation hall. As valuable, as important. All these immediate physical tasks are seen as essential spiritual practices. None of these physical jobs differ in any way from sutra chanting and meditation. This is to stop the habitual mind from attaching to the self, our ego that builds up pride and prejudices. Why do I have to do inferior work? I come to the temple for a 7-day meditation retreat and I am scrubbing the floor, mopping the floor, cleaning the dishes. It's unfair. Plus, other groups are getting better favor. You always compare. In your daily life, you always compare. Hey, how are you, John? Did you get a promotion? Oh, you haven't got a promotion. Oh, in my heart, I feel good about it because I haven't got one. You always compare. If the other guys are doing better than you, you don't feel happy about it. You discriminate. All these mental afflictions, they're torturing us. And you don't know about it until you come to the Buddhist temple and we start to research on them. We look at ourselves, our ego. Why? Why do we have that kind of feeling? Why are we unhappy? Why are we torturing us? It's not the environment that torture you. Of course, right now it is pollution. Pollution, those are something else apart from those. It's not what is surrounding you that's torturing you. It's you inside of you that tortures you. In ancient China, when farmers are farming, they're planting rice seedlings. The practice that they're doing, they're going backward. When you plant seedlings, rice seedlings, people would imagine that you always go forward, right? You plant a seedling and you go one step and you plant another one, you plant it in rows. And by the time you go forward, you have everything done. But in ancient China, farmers are doing it the reverse. They plant backward. They take a rice seedling and they plant it on the soil and they move back, plant it, move back, and plant it and move back. By planting backward, the more you go back, the more fields you got covered. Going backward, stepping back, is actually, in fact, an advancement. Being humble in every step backward is a step forward. Don't you know about that? So doing menial job, washing dishes, mopping the floor, doing something trivial, you think that is unimportant. That is extremely important. That washed away the cloudiness of your ego. That helps you to be humble. Every movement, every step, everything you do, if you do it with dignity, with honor, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. You're taking a bowl and you scrub it down clean, every movement of your hands, the finger movement. Isn't that our dignity? It's not low level. It's not inferior. Do you think labor job is inferior? One of the good things about North America, we always crown labor. We don't look down on labor. Maybe, I don't know if you know about it. I come from Asia. Asian people still downgrade on labor jobs. They think the officials, the higher levels, are always doing the intellectual jobs. All those cleaning and washings, they are left to be for the uneducated. In North America, it's not the same. That's why we're prospering. We don't discriminate that much in that aspect. Of course, we discriminate in many other things. And again, we can't be very superior in where we're standing, despising the Asians for not recognizing labor. There are many things that every country has its pros and cons, of course. To be mindful of the body in all its details, to be present with the body in its physical chore, the housekeeping, the cleaning, and all other menial duties, this is the practice to teach you to be mindful and humble. If you disdained this kind of work, not only have you forgotten the essence of meditation, you are actually get hung up with the attachment of your own ego. And your ego, my ego, everybody's ego, is the source of suffering. The faith mind maxim, there is a gata, a long poem. We call it in the Chinese languages, Xin Xin Ming Sheng Chan. The faith mind maxim written by monk Sheng Chan. That is a few sentences like this, and I read from it. The perfect way is not difficult. It only avoids discrimination. If only there is no love or hatred, completely clean and clear is it. That means that the problem comes when you have discrimination in your mind, when there's love and hatred. If you don't have love and hatred, problems resolved. If one discriminates what is fair, what is unfair, what is superior, what is inferior, what is trivial, and what is important, your mind is not at peace. Your mind is wandering all over the place with egoistic feelings. The maxim further says, if there is the slightest discrepancy, That is heaven-earth separation. If you want to realize it presently, there should be no liking or disliking. We have lectures on this before. The faith mind maxim. That's about 4 years ago. Is that 4 years ago? For the faith mind maxim. Huh? 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 Oh, 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, it's, if there is no liking or disliking, it's always good to bring up, to refresh our memory. Sometimes it's easily forgotten. If there is no liking or disliking, the world changed. Liking and disliking, love and hatred have brought a lot of problems to the world, to the individuals, to the families, to the societies, and to countries internationally. Love and hatred, that's the source of wars, genocide, killings. All this is because of love and hatred. Family problems, divorces, broken homes, starts from love and hatred. I remember I read a story. There were new couples, wedding, everybody went to the wedding for celebrations. And after a week, the couple lived very happily. And one day the wife said, I read a magazine and it says that it would improve human relations if we know each other's flaws, weaknesses. So the best way to resolve it is maybe I'll write my weaknesses, I'll write your weaknesses down, and you write my weaknesses down. So then you know my weaknesses and I know your weaknesses, and then we can start to improve on them. And there will be no relationship problem. We'll stay on forever. We love each other so much. Proposed by the wife. And the husband said, oh, good. That's what the psychologist said. So let's write up, I'll write up your weaknesses and you write up my weaknesses and let's improve on them. So the wife went on and write up 3 pages, a list of all the weaknesses of the husband. 3 pages. And of course the husband on the other side also wrote up the wife's weaknesses. And 1 week later, Sunday morning, they went to the breakfast table at home and they started to take out the paper. So the wife took out the papers first. 3 pages, long list, legal size. And the wife started to read it out. No, this is not right. This is wrong. This is your habit. All this, all this, all this. And the wife glanced at the husband and she can see tears in the husband's eyes. And then it comes to the husband's turn to produce the pages of the wife's weaknesses. And the husband produced 1 page. It's all blank. And the wife said, how come yours is blank? And the husband said, when I get married with you, I take all your shortcomings. I know them. I live with them. I understand them. I like the way that is. I know you will change. That's my love. I like the way you are. No discrimination. The wife was all touched and moved. That's a good example for couples in here. So, when the mind settles in humbleness, discrimination comes to rest. Once a novice monk asked, what is Buddhism? A novice monk asked, what is Buddhism? The teacher answered, it is right in front of your nose. Do you know it? It is so clear and ready that it is very close to you. What is close to you? What is closer to you than your own nose? But because it's so close to you, you don't realize it. You take it for granted. You always think that the truth is to be sought far beyond you. You have a candlelight in front of you, and you are still looking for fire to cook your meal. If you know that the candlelight is fire, then the meal would have been long cooked already. You don't know that the candlelight is fire. Trying to understand the spiritual side of the world, of course, does not mean that you have to alienate yourself from it. And the Buddhist teaching offers a path to transcend materiality. Why are we talking about material life? Everything we do is related to material life. Mopping floor, washing dishes, cleaning, and all that, spiritual, intellectual, physical, everything relates to the material world. The Buddhist teaching offers a path to transcend materiality, but it also opens and deepens the material world, revealing its inner riches. You can't get away from the material world to understand the material world. This is accomplished by living the material world with wisdom and compassion. Being present with and respectful of all material things as if each and every one of them were a sacred object. When you do that, you will see that the material world is not what it appears to be. You will see the truth, what it really is, free from discrimination, liberated completely out of your habitual mind. We always think that the material world is superficial and mundane. Actually, what is superficial and mundane is not in the material world itself. It's your habitual view of the world. Our view of stereotyping and labeling everything. This is good, this is bad, this is ugly, this is love, this is hatred. This is mopping the floor, this is cleaning, this is dirty, taking out garbage. Nobody wants to do it. You always discriminate. To see the material world as it really is to recognize this non-difference from the highest spiritual reality. Your Buddha nature, the material world, you study Buddha nature, you can't get away from the material world. You recognize it's non-different. In other words, emptiness is form. Form is emptiness. What is form? Matter. Emptiness is matter. Matter is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Form is emptiness. The same is true of perception, volition, conception, and consciousness, body and mind. You study emptiness, how can you get away from fullness? How can you study causality without knowing form, without knowing matter? How do you know that the formation of all molecules, of all matter, is because of causes put together without seeing the molecules, experiencing through the molecules? Well, so much for today. What we have to do is, maybe in the future 7-day retreat, we know that all the discipline that we do, all the housekeeping chore, cleaning, scrubbing floor, mopping, preparation for food, actually in monastic life, we do everything with the straightest formalities and dignity. Even in eating, we have formalities in eating. We have to chant before we eat. We have to prepare the food, and all these preparations, this chanting, these formalities that we go through is part of the meditation practice. It's not away from it. It's not secondary. It's as important. As I said, the sight of the abbot of the temple, mopping the floor, is as valuable as the speech and lectures in the Dharma hall. There's no difference